had in here where you've been able to use a graphing calculator. Just a reminder, we can only use a scientific calculator, but you can still have a cheat sheet. So our test is going to be on Thursday.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
If we didn't take this in school, we have to take it in college?
No, this class just helps for other math classes. So this is not a required math class.
Is the cheat sheet both sides or one?
Just the one side. Okay guys, stop talking please. Please start working on your cheat sheet soon. Waiting and then not having one, especially for a test like this, that there's a lot to remember, would be really frustrating. So, okay. So you can use one side of a cheat sheet. Again, graphing calculator is okay, but or not. Graphing calculator is not okay, but a scientific calculator is okay. And if you need one, I do have them. I just probably don't have one for everyone. All right. So.
I need to restock.
All right. So then, just kind of talking about the different sections. So if you're starting to kind of go back through your notes and looking, we started with 3.1 where we graphed just sine and cosine, like the most basic sine and cosine. That's before we did any kind of shifting. So making sure you guys are writing down formulas for all the different periods, all that, those kind of things, but basic sine and cosine. And 3.2 is when we actually started shifting them. So we translated them.
Did you do something different to your hair?
No, I didn't actually.
Remember when she was a blonde?
You were blonde.
It seems like her hair.
What?
Yeah, I used to get so many highlights and eventually they just turned all everything blonde. I'm brunette, like naturally. Well, I'm actually gray. It's dyed because I have gray.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, that's great. My dad is like all silver gray hair. He's at the basketball game in Friday.
Then you can just say it's silver hair.
Yeah, it's not. I just don't. I'm too young to have silver hair. I just
Sorry,
can't.
I didn't know.
All right. Then we graph. That's when we started graphing the cosecant and secant. Can't even talk.
Funny words used in you.
Okay.
That's
Easy. Okay. Then we graph tangent and cotangent. Oh, that's when we wrote trig functions. Then we like kind of translated over to writing. This was a tiny section. All right, so you guys are responsible for putting all the information in terms of like giving yourself, like, I mean, we've written all this stuff in our notes multiple times, like what the amplitude does, like all those different pieces. So deciding what to put on your note card. One of the things I highly suggest is making your note card while you work on the review. So if you need to look something up in your notes to do it on the review, or you don't know how to do it on the review, you have to look it up, then you should be like then transferring that over to your note card. So kind of doing them at the same time is a good idea. because if you look back, you're like, oh, that was all easy, I got that, and then you write nothing on your note card, and then the test goes poorly. So use that. Like be strategic about that.
Use it to you.
So I'd like to maybe do 1 or 2 off of here. Do you want? What do you guys think? Do you want a reminder of some, like, pick a couple to choose to go off?
Let's do
4 and 5.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna do all of them eventually. I just don't want to do them all today.
Oh.
And we'll do the rest of them tomorrow.
Let's just go in chronological order.
Start the first 2.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So in this case, in this problem, there is an A value and a C value we have to deal with. So the A value tells us our amplitude.
D's nuts. What's up?
Yay.
Dylan, you gotta move.
Thank you.
Dylan, you gotta move.
Or he can just sit where Dylan.
No. Look, D's. Go. Just an update for you. John has his grandpa's metal balls.
Come on. Come on, buddy. Fight.
Okay.
Peace out.
So,
Dorn, it won't bite you.
so a few things here. So the amplitude is 2. Typically with sine, the period is 2 pi, and that doesn't change because there's no b value there, or the b value is 1. And the pi over 4 is going to shift my graph to the left pi over 4. If that's the case, I would choose to use pi over 4 as my units. Like, so that's what I would use for my units. But notice the period has to be 2 pi. Are you guys okay with pi over 4 being the units?
That's okay. I don't mind.
So there is no b value next to the x for sine, which automatically assumes.
Yes. Because b is just 1, dividing by 1.
Okay.
All right. So again, with these, I like drawing my dotted line first, and then I'm going to shift. So you don't have to do that. Just make sure that if you are doing that on a test, that you guys make sure you tell me, like, if you didn't do it, because dotted lines are a little bit harder for you guys to write because you don't have technology here. But if you do that, like, make sure you write, like, the pink is my final, or whatever, you know, the darker one, or whatever it happens to be. So if my period is 2 pi, I'd start here, end here, middle, and it's going to go up to 2 and down to -2. Oops, I went up to 3. So this is my typical sine graph, but I need to shift this left pi over 4 because of that C value. So move everything left pi over 4. And so then I just have to redraw that with my new graph then. So all of these points are just going to go over 1. That doesn't look right.
That's
Too much.
no.
That one's in the wrong spot. So there is our sine graph. So this one is my final. All right, the next one is asking me for the secant of pi, or theta over 3. I threw a theta in there because I knew that sometimes when those come up, you don't know what to do with them. So just to talk about that. Over 3 minus. So one of the things is theta goes with cosine. And this is the same thing as like 1/3 theta, or 1/3 x, if that's better that way. So that's actually my b value. And then this is d. So if B is 1/3, I have to put that, into my equation for period. So 2 pi over 1/3. So I have to flip that and multiply. So 2 pi times 3 can be 6 pi.
And that's the period.
That's our period. So once I have that, so that's going to tell me start to finish, it's going to take 6 pi to get there for cosine. Now cosine typically starts at 1 and then goes down to 0, so don't forget about that. But again, it needs to go to 6 pi. So I'm probably going to go up by pi's on this one, I think. Right? Too many lumps there. Okay, so 6 pi. So again, I'm going to do a dotted line and then a solid line. Oh, sorry. You need this. So again, I'm going to do my dotted line here. So it's going to start at 1, end at 1. And in the middle should be -1, and then between there it should hit 0.
Oh, wait, what?
So this is cosine. It's our typical cosine graph. But then we have to shift this, what? Down 2. So from here I have to go down 2, down 2, down 2. So I'm going down 2. But then, remember cosecant, secant in this case, now this is where we have to draw in those u's. So our graph is not done till we draw these in. And they go on the max and min, they should touch the graph. The max and min of all those like tops and bottoms of our cosine, of our final cosine. All right, questions there? Should we save the rest of the notes for tomorrow and just start on a review? Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. So our review is kind of, it looks big. It's kind of on the long side here. Why don't we try to do, should we do odds for tomorrow and then try evens for the next day? But if you can't get some of them, feel free to skip and bring questions. That's okay? So shoot for odds for tomorrow, just so you get a good sampling. So odds for tomorrow, and then evens for Thursday. And start working on your note card.
But you're not going to have to say right? I was high five, but so what's the whoa, so many.
Odds tomorrow, evens for the next day. Yes.